Made 30K yesterday. I made 700 yesterday. Made 4K yesterday. I made $50. Congrats. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I made 22,000. I made $90. Hey, at least you made something, right? I made 5K. I made 6K. I made 2K. Let's go. That's what I like to say. A dollar's a dollar, you know? A dollar's a dollar. All right, let me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day whatever the fuck it is of the boot camp. Welcome. Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. All right. If you guys can see trading views, type one. If not, type two. What day is it actually? Is it day 30? What day is it? Day 21, 26, 27, 21, 20. You guys gotta obviously you gotta take into account the Saturdays, you gotta take into account the Sunday swings. I don't know, I'll do the math. Doesn't fucking matter. Day 23, they okay, a lot of different days. All right, cool. So all right, let me all right, let's get started. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we have, well, let's start off with our cryptos, right? So looks like our cryptos are finally deciding to have some type of a retracement, which is great. Fantastic. Finally. Bitcoin did not make it to 100,000 because obviously the take profits right under 100,000 were fucking ridiculous. And obviously it's a supply and demand. As soon as price gets there, people are liquidating their positions. That's pushing price to the downside. Dogecoin as well is having a retracement, and Ethereum is kind of not even getting affected. XRP having a retracement, Solana having a retracement, and this shit having another push to the downside. Basically, for me, waiting for a pullback to buy, waiting for a pullback to buy, waiting for a pullback to buy, pullback buy, and just waiting for it to buy. Now moving on to the pairs that we talked about on Sunday swings. Wow, let's start off with AUD USD. How fucking interesting is that, right? Wow, wow, wow. Well, AUD USD, where we waiting for a shift of structure. So if you notice right here, after this push to the upside, we came down, had the pullback, and then no shift of structure at this point, so technically no trade. Then we had the shift of structure right here. So shift of structure, this becomes the lower low, this becomes the lower high. And then basically you could have taken this trade right at this bearish engulfing. On the 30-minute, you have a bearish engulfing as well. And you could have basically taken your trade there. Obviously, it would have been a very uncomfortable stop loss because you would have to have a bigger take profit because up to this point right here, it'd be roughly a 1 to 2, which is very, very okay with that. And you can see how the trade is playing out very well. You guys can see how you could have added it to these confluences, daily doji. You could have then added that the 4 hour was also bearish because at the time of the closure of this, I think it went bearish. Could have added that when we were under the 4 hour EMA, added the shift of structure, added all these confluences, and the trade played out. USD CAD, I'm sure all of you guys saw it perfectly once we had the shift of structure. Wow, look at that. You would have waited for this right here. So you did not enter here or whatever. You then had the shift of structure, and then you had the retest, and you had the engulfing. And there goes your trade. Like you guys are seeing how you're really gonna actually start to understand the trade as soon as you start seeing the patterns happen live again and 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 again. And this is what's supposed to happen as soon as you have a proper shift of structure and then you have your engulfing. That's what's supposed to happen. That's why we wait for all this shit that we wait for all the fucking time. Like, we literally got the shift of structure perfectly, and then boom. Obviously, I'm sure there is some type of fundamentals that play some type of role into this move. And this is the perfect example of us just being patient and waiting for the trading plan to fully check out. Now, yes, you could have entered at the 15-minute shift of structure whenever it did it right here. And then you could have entered right at the high of this shift of structure with your stop loss down here. You could have entered then at this engulfing right here, or you could have then entered on the 30-minute shift of structure on this engulfing, or you could have also entered at then the 1 hour engulfing candlestick or the morning star formation here. They're all great entries. There's not a right or wrong one. There's not a one that I would like. They're all great entries. So this is literally the perfect example of like just following the trading plan and just being patient, having to wait for the trade to play out. And then if you notice, this was the lower high, this is the lower low. When it broke above and it retested, also perfectly, then you have the retest of the structure. Then the 2 hour is also bullish. So like you guys are seeing how shit as it goes, it starts making more sense and it starts like, oh, I get it. Here, for example, on Euro JPY, price never really fully made it to the area of interest. So we never are interested in the trade. So I'm sure you guys have this question asked all the time that what if we never make it to the area of interest? Well, then we never make the trade. Even though if we are something that close, we technically did not make it. So you did not take it. This is a missed trade and it's perfectly fine. It is what it is. You just simply cannot do any confluences if we're not at the area of interest. I can't tell you guys how many times I've predicted the market of I can't tell how many times I predicted the direction of the market and never entered a trade. I predict the direction of the market cake with my eyes closed. Now it's just the execution part where I'm very selective. I can tell you right now, this shit's gonna go all the way to this point. That's easy. It's entering at the precise part where it becomes more challenging. And this is literally a perfect example of you having to wait for the trade to get to your area of interest. So never made it to the area of interest. We never executed the trade. Then we have Euro AUD, which, and I love this because like every single possible question happened in every single one of these markets at the same time. So you can literally see it happen live. You have the first trade, which is the one that had the shift of structure, but then it took a little long to happen, and then it's just showing you how the trade plays out over time. Then you have the trade that as soon as you have the shift of structure, it just then fucking rockets. Then you have the trade that never made it to the area of interest, but it did have the shift of structure. So if you notice, this is on the way to the area of interest. This is the higher high, higher low, higher high, whatever. Boom, shift of structure, and then the move happens. It never made it to the area of interest, so you can't execute the trade, even though you have the shift of structure. So you literally have three different scenarios that you guys would have questions on and concerns about, and they all happen live at the same time. And then you have this one, which the trade did make it to the area of interest, made it to the retest of this neckline of the head and shoulders. But then when you go down to the 1 hour, what do you have? You don't have a shift of structure on the 1 hour. This is the lower low, lower high, whatever, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. We never had a shift of structure on the 1 hour. You go down to the 30 minutes and we we barely had a shift of structure. And you guys can see it right here. If you would want to count this one, cool, shift the structure there. Or if you want to count one here, cool, it technically did shift the structure by that candlestick. So you could have either entered this trade down here and your stop loss would have been above, or you could have then waited for the pullback, and on this pullback, you wait for your engulfing, and then you notice that you literally never have your engulfing. This right here is not an engulfing because then this becomes the higher high. So you can't enter trade at a higher high. You have to wait for the shift of structure. When you go down to the 1 hour, on the 1 hour, you are then bullish. This is not bearish. You cannot enter because there is no shift of structure. On the 15-minute time frame, you do have a perfect shift of structure, and then you do have a perfect retest. And again, this is not a bad trade. You could enter this trade right here. It's not a terrible trade. There's nothing wrong. You're not literally making a mistake. You're doing everything you should do, and you're doing it correctly. But this is where time and knowledge and experience comes into play, where then you would avoid these type of losses. For example, I was not even interested in this trade, and I told you guys to not be interested in this trade because of one thing. Don't sell this market on the first retest. Clearly, every single time it comes up to this area, it has to retest it more than once, twice, 3 times before having the move. Once, twice, move. 1, 2, 3 days here, then the move. It takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days here before having the move. Just because it's retesting and then you have the shift of structure doesn't mean that you have to jump in right away. According to the plan, yes, that is what you're supposed to be doing. That is the technical shit that you're supposed to be doing. Now, the experience thing that you're supposed to be doing is looking at the previous examples of the market. How strong is this area? And it's very strong. It takes a lot for price to get away from it once it's there. So that's why I did not execute this trade. So this is another perfect example of having the shift of structure, having everything you need, and the trade still hitting stop loss. And how do you avoid it? By having time, having experience, and also taking a step back and asking yourself more questions on the trade. So this is another beautiful example that happened live. And then you have an example like Euro USD, where price would pull up to the, like, where I love it. Like literally every single scenario that could possibly happen, happened. Then you have Euro USD, which it pulled back to the area of interest. And let's say if it did pull back to the area of interest and it did have the shift of structure, right? Higher low, higher high, whatever. And then boom, you entered the shift of structure. You have the lower low. You then enter on the retest right here, which by the way, this right here is a perfect trade. There's nothing wrong with this trade right here. You have your 50 pip stop loss. You add 10 pips, so you make it 63. And then you have your take profit. Everything's good to go. You have your shift of structure. You're at the area of interest. You're trading with the trend. And then boom, you get wicked out. Everything that you can possibly ask for is literally playing out right in front of you. And let's say that you would have executed every single one of these trades, right? This right here would be minus $100. This right here, let's say if you would have taken it, would have been minus $100. This trade right here, you could have not taken it. But let's say you would have taken it, you're up $200. So now these two losses are then break even. Then you go to USD CAD, you would have taken it. You would have gotten your 1 to 2 risk to reward. So now you are up $200. And then this trade right here that let's say you executed it, you would be up right now $100. So you guys just seen how you could have taken every single trade, lost basically half of them, and you're still up because of the positive risk to reward. I could have not asked for a better example and a better scenario for the market. Like I could have recreated these scenarios in backtesting, but there's no possible way I could have recreated it as perfect as live right now. Like this is a absolute blessing. This is like you can like it, this is so perfect having a trade, have the shift of structure, and then perfectly going to take profit. Having a trade take a while, have the shift of structure, fuck around, and then go into profit. Have a trade, not make it to the area of interest, but still have the shift of structure and still have the move. Have a trade, get to the area of interest, have the shift of structure, and then go straight into stop loss, or not even give you the entry if you would have waited for a little bit higher of a time from confirmation. And then lastly, getting wicked out. Like this is a fucking perfect educational week. I could have not asked for something better than this. And even if you would have executed every single one of these markets, risking the same amount, you would still be up. Take these two losses. Let's say that you don't even take this one. Let's say because it didn't make it to the area of interest, you missed it. You do take USD CAD. So now you're up a 1 to 2. So you just made back both of these L's that you would have taken. And then in AUD USD, you would be in a little bit of profit. Now, you guys may be asking, Alex, what did you take? How did you do it? What do you do? Well, you gotta remember first, I am fucking years ahead of you guys in terms of just trading in general and also on using this strategy. So let's say you guys right now are surfing, right? Not only do I have years ahead of you actually surfing, but I have years ahead of you surfing on a board that I created. I created the board and I've been surfing on this board for years. You just learned how to fucking surf and how to use my board. Like it's a board that only I know how to use perfectly because I created it. Nobody else. Like, yeah, you can go surf on a different type of board, but my board is unique. It's different. It's not like everybody else's. And you have to relearn how to surf if you already learned how to surf, because my board is just completely different. You're in the same you're in the same ocean as you were surfing before, but you're in a completely different board. So things change. They're completely different. You're in the same markets you were trading before, but you're using a completely different strategy. And you can't expect to have the same execution, the same success as me just 1 week after having access to the strategy. And even then, if you were to still do it, you would still be up. So for me, I am now a perfectionist, and this is what I'm going to teach you guys in the upcoming 30-day post bootcamp when we get on, our 1 to 2 calls every single week, is going to be how to avoid these losses. So in a week like this one, you only execute on these 2 wins and you only make money. You don't lose money. Like out of all these 5 markets, I go and I try and execute one of them. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not fucking Superman. Sometimes I am, but when it comes to the markets, I'm not. And there is going to be times where out of these 5, I pick the wrong one and then the other 4 play out. And then maybe you might ask me, well, why didn't you take off fucking 5 of them? Because that's just not the way how it works. That's not the way how I've been able to scale my account. I scale my account by being very selective, getting one and fucking sniping that shit and maximizing the profits. I don't want to have to over expose myself to a bunch of different trades. I rather just put all my chips in one trade and just have the great risk to reward there. I'd rather be very selective rather than distribute the type of trades that I want to, because I feel like that's overexposing myself. Because if you notice, we're taking like here we're buying the USD because it's USD CAD. Here we are selling Euro USD. So we're technically buying the USD because it's going down. So we bet that it's going to go stronger. And then here we are selling the Euro, but on this one over here, like it's just like we're betting the same thing, and I would basically be betting, I would be overexposing myself. Because if I sell here and I buy here, I'm doing the same shit. I'm literally betting the same bet in a way. Because here I want the USD to get strong, and then if this goes down, I want the USD to get strong. And if I take both trades, I'm technically taking the same fucking trade. I obviously am not, because there's a whole other currency pair involved, but I just want you guys to get the overall idea that I'm overexposing myself. I just need to take one trade out of all these 5. Now, again, you guys aren't supposed to be doing that because you guys just learned how to do this. You guys first have to fuck up, fix your mistakes, learn from it, and then move on. And then you guys, as time goes, you will start to develop a experience and perfection with the strategy. Now I'm teaching you what it is, how I use it, and how you can go and execute on it. But it's literally going to be a matter of time for you to be able to master it. But only you could master it because you have to be in front of in front of the charts and the markets every single day, executing it no matter what. Whether you get wicked out like this, whether you get stopped out like this, whether you miss a trade like this, whether you win a trade like this, or whether you're just fluctuating in a trade like this. You have to go experience every single one of these trades. Now, it might take you 3 months to execute every single one of these trades because you might have 2 whole weeks where you just catch trades like this. So you don't know what it is to have trades like this. But then you might have 2 whole weeks where you enter trades just like this. And then you don't know what it is to have trades like this. And then you need to go through 2 whole weeks to have trades like this. Now, obviously, it is literally impossible to predict how that chain of events is going to happen. We don't know if you're going to have these be your first two trades or these be your first two trades. Nobody fucking knows. It's whoever it does, it's fucking impossible. They're lying. Only way to know is by being here and showing up every single fucking day. But that's how you're going to perfect it, by you yourself going through these type of trades and going through these type of market experiences and market wickouts, playouts, breakout. Like you have to sit through it and go through it. And then once you do that, then you can evolve to where I am now. But the most important thing out of all this fucking shit is that you know exactly what is happening. And I know I've repeated this many times, and I don't know how many of you have actually grasped onto it. But the fact that you know exactly where the market is and exactly what the market is doing is so powerful that maybe if you're just a beginner or an intermediate, it's going right over your head. But I think the experienced traders would know. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe the beginner traders understand and appreciate it. The experienced don't. However, way it goes is like you don't get to the markets and you don't know any longer not what the fuck is going on. Like, dude, I know why the fuck I got wicked out of this shit. Well, because the daily time frame only had one retest. USD CAD. I know why I had to move like this because I'm bullish. I'm buying at an area of interest, and I have fucking 3 days with dojis, and I had to shift the structure. Like you know exactly where the fuck, like you know, you're not surprised. You know that they're like whatever outcome is gonna happen, any one of these five, you know exactly why, how to prepare for it, and how to adapt to it. Now you know what it is, but you don't really fully understand it because you haven't experienced it for yourself. So I know I kind of went on a little rant there, but it's very important and very key that you guys deeply understand this because there is not going to be a better week. Like I could have not recreated this if I wanted to. This last 3 Zoom calls, Sunday swings, yesterday's call, and today's call are probably, I'm going to name these 3 videos like a golden video or golden videos or whatever, because the final part of the strategy where it's kind of putting everything all together, level 1, is so perfectly executed. Sunday swing so perfectly analyzed. Monday the follow-up so perfectly analyzed, and then Tuesday so perfectly the playouts on every single different case scenario. So if you guys really wanna get it, these last 3 Zoom calls are the ones that are going to be the one for it. So I know I went on a little rant there, but if all this makes sense, say yes. If not, say no. Amazing. Amazing. So these are the results. 99% say yes, 1% say no. Trolls, thank you. You know what? Thank you, guys. Thank you, man. This actually means a lot. You know what? That meant a lot. Now, any possible fucking questions you can have after I just explained everything. Like I explained, yes, this is a wick out. It happens and it's going to continue to happen. We can't avoid it. This is just a trade that you could have maybe avoided because you could have waited for the 1 hour shift to structure and for a better engulfing, or you could have waited for the 30 minutes. You could have waited for the 30-minute engulfing and you never got it, so you avoided the loss, or you could have taken the trade here and you could have still lost. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a rookie mistake, and it's totally fine. The trade is somewhat valid, but in the eyes of an experienced person, even something that is valid, simply because it doesn't have something like this where it doesn't have many touches, like it only has one touch, the trade didn't play out. Now, I can't add that to a trading plan or add that to a checklist because it's a case by case thing. The trading plan and the checklist is just what is needed for a trade to have a high probability of going in that direction or not. I can't add it to here. Oh, when it reaches the area of interest, it needs to have more than 5 touches at the area of interest. No, like that's not a confluence. I can't add that. Every single trade is different. It's a trade case by case thing. This is more of a OG kind of thing that you just have to know, and then there you would make your own decision on it. So yes, the trade was fine. You could take that trade. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't take it, even though everything checked out, because of just one small thing. Because it doesn't have more daily taps, and I see that the daily has been here multiple times before having to move. Probably just need more taps. That's it. That's something that you're gonna get with experience. You're not gonna get that with, one Zoom call. It's gonna take time for you to realize and understand that. Euro JPY, it never made it to the area of interest. So I never took the trade. We don't take the trade if we're not at the area of interest. That's really it. Or is this going to happen? Absolutely. I can't tell you how many trades have not made it to an area of interest and I predicted the move to perfection. It happens. Then we have this, which is perfect. I set all different possible fucking scenarios for you to be able to enter this trade. Either at the shift, on the pullback retest, on the lower time frame, here. And eventually all of them, they're all perfectly fine. Hit your take profit perfectly. The only question I can see that you can possibly have here is like, all right, Alex, once it made it to my take profit and then it broke through it, and you say that we have to hold through the area, how do you know when to stop? Great question, without you even asking it, because I know you might have it. So the question is, okay, Alex, we made it up here to this area and we broke through the take profit. You say to never put a take profit. How do we know to then, like, when the fuck do we actually then take profit? Well, it's when you start seeing a shift of structure on the push. So this is how the push will look like, I don't know, on the daily, right? This is where you're going to look to buy. And here where you look to buy, let's say this is your take profit up here. Now on this push that you're going to get here on the 15-minute time frame, there's going to be structure. And if this shit blows through your take profit, cool. You keep holding it, keep modifying it, because this move just keeps going up. And as soon as you start seeing a shift of structure, so this keeps going because it's still bullish. As soon as you start seeing a shift of structure and that now it's bearish, okay, cool. That's now your indication that you want to get out of this trade, because this trade is now potentially going to have a pullback to then create the next higher low leg. So then it has the next higher high leg. And then basically this is where then you would enter the next trade. Once it does have then this next structure, this is where then you enter this next trade, and so on and so forth. But I won't teach you guys this right now. I'll teach you this later. I'm teaching you right now just how the fuck do you know when to get out if after we broke through the take profit. So this trade right here, let's go down to the 15-minute. And the 15-minute, this would have been the higher high. This would have been the higher low. This would have been the new higher high because we clearly body closed above it. And since this is the new higher high, when we body closed under it, you could have then be interested in executing this trade and getting the fuck out of there. So you could have gotten this trade out right around this area for a 1 to 2.3. And basically this trade is now going to keep going bearish into this area. And then once we have a shift, you then buy it again right here. And then you continue going with the trend. Now you don't obviously buy it right now here. There's a different way on how to do that, and I'll explain to you then. But for now, we're only looking at the take profit. So that's your only possible question you could have here. And then on AUD USD, trade just takes a while. That's really it. Do you enter here? Sure. Do you enter there? Once you have the shift of structure, and then you have your engulfing, you enter the trade, and that is it. And then you fucking set and forget. If all this makes sense, say, by the way, these are the last results. I don't know if I showed them, 99%. If all this makes sense, say yes. If not, say no. Come on, let's make it 100% pull. Don't fat finger it. Don't fat finger it. I mean, dude, honestly, this to me, this is probably one of the best polls that we've had the whole entire bootcamp. Like almost 100% completion in 15 seconds. and 99% say yes, and 1% say no. That right there almost put a tear in my fucking eye. So, what possible questions can you guys have regarding this? All right, cool. Here we go. All right, please make them simple, guys. Don't fucking drive me crazy. All right, here goes the first one. All right, I have to turn off the chat because it's getting spammed. Question about stop loss. Let's say I wanted to do $1,000 trade. Is our stop loss size $1,000 divided by the amount of pips? AKA is the amount of stop loss 50 pips, for example, meaning each pip. I don't fucking know what you're saying, dude. All I know is this. I don't know how big your account is. Let's say it's $10,000 and you want to risk $1,000. You put $1,000 here. You put your stop loss for 50 pips. You click calculate, and that is your lot size. If you have $5,000 in your account, it's the same fucking lot size. The only thing that goes up is how much you're risking of the account percentage wise. If you have $4,000 in your account, you're gonna risk 25%. But if you notice, the stop loss is the same because the pip amount is the same, so the dollar amount is the same. Would you have a sell currently? They can. So other questions that I've seen so far is, was this a good entry? Was this that? And I think I already answered that. Was Euro USD a good entry? It was a great entry. It was just got waked out, brother. All right, let me see this right here. I'm just gonna the big ones. Honestly, I don't even read them, dude. I just read them here with you guys. All right, Alex. I thought of what you said in the last class about risk management, staying consistent with 2% risk on our trades, and I have a question about how did previous students manage to reach 100K within 3 to 6 months? They increased their risk, right? Do you know to what level, how they increased it? Thank you. It's an important part that we deserve to hear about, considering their stories were involved in the product pitch. Um, sure, I don't know what the product pitch has to do with this. I just say student results. I give you guys a foundation. So let's start off with the first one. I thought you said that in the last class about risk management, stay consistent on 2% of your trades. Yeah, again, I have to recommend you to stay within a certain percentage of the account that is healthy and that it's going to have you with a stable psychology. And if you break out of this as a beginner or to start using the strategy, you're not going to have stability in your mindset. So you have to stay at 2% max. Anything above 2% will not give you the stability, psychological, emotional control because you just don't know how to use a strategy. And if you don't have proper risk management, then you don't have the proper emotions and you don't properly execute the strategy. So you have to stick to the 2%. And the questions that have made $100,000 plus, which are a lot, I've had probably more than 1,000 students make $100,000 using the strategy. And have they done it within the 3 to 6 months? 100 fucking percent. And they started off using the 2% rule and then they got comfortable and then they raised their risk. Now, how did they increase their risk? Well, no, did they increase their risk? Yes, sir, obviously. And maybe they did or they didn't. Maybe they increased it to 4%, but they're trading with 600K. So it's really not that hard to get $100,000 if you're trading with 600K funded. So they did increase their risk. And how did they increase it? Well, I don't know exactly how they increased it. They increased it to whatever they were tolerant with. You're probably out here saying that you want to increase your risk, but then when you go increase your risk and you take a loss, you're crying. So that is entirely up to you. If you want to increase your risk, yeah, you're going to make more money, but get ready to lose more money. So it's what you're okay with doing. And only you will know when you're ready to do that. The answer to this is yes. In order for them to make 100K within 3 to 6 months, they did increase their risk. When did they do it? When they felt ready. Everybody knows when they're ready. If you raise your risk and you start bitching because you lost more money, well, then don't raise your risk, lower your risk. I have to create like that. That to me is a degenerate question, meaning you're not satisfied with making the 2% that you risk. So then, to me, you're not ready to raise your risk. You're supposed to raise your risk organically, naturally. It comes because you understand the strategy, you understand how to use the market, not because you want to make more money. When you get the strategy and you get the markets, money will come on its own. Don't do it for money because then you won't make any. Again, I'm gonna start kicking people out if you start spamming the questions. I see a bunch of people here spamming. Guys, don't spam, please. Literally, I'm ignoring so many of the people that are spamming. Okay, let me do some of this right here. So you talk about knowing how to avoid taking a trade off of an area of interest because of experience, but what do you realize through multiple times of avoiding the trade at the area of interest for a trade setup that is technically good setup based on the strategy? Because sometimes I feel I don't see what you see. Well, you don't see what I see because you just got started probably, and you just learned this. So I just know when to avoid a trader. Just sometimes I don't just like how it looks. And sometimes I love how it looks and then I lose. It's literally a case by case thing. And at the end of the day, it goes back to what I said originally. I don't want to take all these trades at the same time because I'm technically taking the same trade because they all have, or the majority of them have the USD. I just decide to pick one of them out of all of them. Sometimes I pick the right ones, sometimes I pick the wrong ones. But like you're only judging me based off of my wins, but you're not judging me based off of my losses. You're only looking at the pro when I make money and you want to know how to do that every time, but you're not giving a shit about when I lose money and I pick the wrong one. You're like discrediting that. I feel like that's wrong. Um, please talk about taxes. No, sir. Okay, let me see this one. It's literally making so much sense to me now. I managed to catch USD CAD yesterday and avoid all the others were before I would have been itching to take to enter the trades. Yeah, that's literally the whole point of the strategy as well. Again, I keep repeating the same thing, but it's so important for you guys to know that you know exactly where the market is. So you know that you don't have to jump into a trade immediately. You know it's not going to go anywhere. Like you got to just set and fucking forget, wait for the trade to come to you. So I'm glad that you caught USD CAD and that you avoided the other ones. And now you know that you don't have to be itchy to catch the trades. It's literally just going to be it's only going to get better with time. All right, let me add this one. If we get a shift of structure above the psychological level for shorting, should we wait for the price to be? Go look at the fucking recording. We'll look at yesterday's recording. Okay, let me see this one. These are all curious questions, which I think I already fucking answered, but okay. Do you wait for the daily candle to close before actually taking a trade? Because sometimes I see a wick going into the area there of interest. Go watch the recording. Miguel Felipe. Alex, could you please go over the percentage on the checklist? I watched the video twice, but when you at 10% on the trend, it goes from, but when you at 10% on the trend, it goes from 125. It goes to 125 from 105. I just want to get it 1,000% correct, A plus or nothing. Yeah, dude, just go watch the fucking recording for the third time because I literally say it. If you have 100%, great. If you have 125%, great. That doesn't mean you're not going to lose the trade. That just means you have a fuck ton of shit that's going to give you a better probability of the trade going in the favor or not. I don't know how confusing that can be, but sure. Only aha moment. Congrats, bro. Why am I always getting wicked out? Because you suck, dude. Nah, bro, I don't know, bro. Fucking this part because you're probably not putting the stop loss right now. I don't know. Okay. You guys can ask some more questions. Make them some challenging ones, please. Just and do not spam. Do not spam. Do not spam. Do not spam. Has a trade ever jumped to your take profit or stop loss? No, never. I've never had a take profit or stop loss. You dive deeper into patterns. Yes, just want to get through all these questions and then we're going to move on. All right, just turn off the chat. All right, look, this is a great question. It's a curious question and it's a valid one, right? I just like copying them so you guys can read them with me because I feel like it makes more sense sometimes. Like, if you have all confluence on a Sunday night, will you take the trade? Fantastic question, Manuel. The answer is no. You will not take a trade on a Sunday ever, and you will not take a trade on a Friday ever. You only take trades London session to Monday, so Sunday night, technically Monday morning, because that's when the London session kicks in for Monday. And the last trade you can take is in the last London session of Thursday. So I'm gonna write this down. Take your time, take your time. No trades on Sunday. So if you have all confluence on Sunday night, will you take the trade? No, no. You can only take it in London session of Monday. So the session technically late into so after Sunday night, it's 12 o'clock, 1 in the morning. Boom, you can take a trade from there. That's the first trade you can take of the week. The last trade you can take of the week, I'm going to say it again. The last trade you can take for the week is on Thursday, ending London session. The last London session of the week. There it is. The first trade you can take of the week, if all your confluences are there, is the first London session of the week. And the last trade you can take of the week is the last London session of the week. Cannot get any fucking simpler than that. First trade is the first London session of the week. The last trade of the week is the last London session of the week, which is Thursday night. And then as soon as New York kicks in on Friday or what is it? Is it Friday London session? Yeah, or Friday London session, whatever. The last London session. So if market closes at 5 p.m. EST, work backwards to that clock, basically, or whatever. You guys get what the fuck I'm saying. Maybe it's Friday London session. I don't know. Whatever. Okay, let's see this one. Alex Ugarte. Dude, I'm so bad with names. Jesus. What's the best way to follow the checklist and create a balanced schedule for reviewing charts without feeling overwhelmed? Should we start focusing on just one or two charts to avoid the temptation of FOMO when trading? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this approach. Great question, Alex. So the best way to follow the checklist and create a balanced schedule for reviewing your charts without feeling overwhelmed is going to be by simply following the trades that I gave you on Sunday swings. What we just did on this last Sunday swings is what every single Sunday swings is going to look like. I'm going to tell you exactly what markets you need to look for and exactly what you need to look for in these markets. So you should not feel overwhelmed. And it should be very easy for you to follow the checklist and be balanced because I'm telling you where to go look at it and how to go look at it. So that's how you're going to avoid temptation and FOMO with day trading. Answered your fucking question to perfection, brother. We share the same name, man. You know, that's love right there. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, cool. Moving on. I don't know. I'm just gonna copy this one. Hey Alex, I wanted to get into USD CAD, but then the time of the day was at the end of the session. Should I have stopped me from entering? Would that have stopped you? Also with USD CAD and AUSD already in motion, if you didn't catch those moves, do you consider the week done on trading and wait for the next one? Great question. So the trade was basically your entry was out of session, which is valid. Do I let that avoid me from entering a trade? Yes. Just depends how clean it is and how fucking gangster the trade looks. If it does not look super clean, I will not take the trade. Like you obviously can't take it like at the end of the session, but like a couple of hours before is fine. Like 3, 4 hours is fine. But if it's like 1, 2 hours, I would not recommend it. So that answers your first one. Should you have stopped it? Should they have stopped it from should that have stopped me from entering the trade? Yeah, that should have stopped you because that means you're being conservative. That means you're being selective. The fact that you did not enter shows me that you have self-control and you don't have FOMO, which is a good thing. I'd rather have you make a decision on not entering the trade than you saying, fuck it, I'm going to enter it. Because that leads me to understand that you are okay with being patient, that you are okay with waiting, and you don't care about missing out on a trade. What you are doing is you're preserving your capital and you're being very selective where you go put that money. I would much rather have you be that trader right now than the trader that goes and just says, fuck it, we're going to enter the trade. No, I would need you to do exactly what you did. If that helped, if that made you not enter the trade, I'm going to applaud you because that means that you're being conservative and you're being selective. So would that have stopped me? Absolutely. Also, with USD CAD and ASD already in motion, it didn't catch, like, if you didn't catch those moves, do you consider the week done on trading for the week? Yeah, technically the trade happened. The move is done. You move on to the next trade. Just because the move happened, you can't want it to happen again because you missed out of it. The fuck do you think this is? You know, a fucking roulette table? No. Dude, this is trading. Just because you bet on black or you wanted to bet on black and you didn't and you missed out, that now it should go again. No, dude, it's done. The trade is done. Now you move on to a next one. That's it. It's very simple. And if all the trades are happen to be finished and there's no more moves, then they're done for the week. You wait for next week. It's the beauty of trading. Answered your question to perfection, my brother. All right. See, these are the questions that I like because they're not like this leads, and all these questions are more curious questions. I call these like curious questions because they're not technical questions. They have nothing to do with what I've taught you with the strategy. They're more of like shit around the trading. Alex, let's say I take a loss on a pair on my area of interest one, but then after some time, maybe a day later or whatever, it gets to my next area of interest. If it looks good, should I retake or just move on? And if I lose one trade in the week, should I take another one just because you mentioned you only take one trade per week? All right, let's start off with the first one. Let's say I take my trade on area of interest one, whatever, and then later throughout the week, it goes on to my next area of interest and it looks good. Should I retake the trade? Yes, sir. You retake the trade. Or you can just move on, whatever you decide to do. There's no right or wrong. If it looks good, you take it. If you don't want to take it, you don't. It's entirely up to you. I've said this many times in the past. And if you lose a trade in the week, should you take another one? Just because you mentioned you only take one trade. Again, I'm already 5 years ahead of you and I am a fucking degenerate. So I can lose 10 trades in a row and I don't give a shit. It's you. How much trades are you willing to lose and be okay with it throughout the week? So if you lose a trade in a week, should you take another one? I don't know. Are you okay with it or are you not okay with it? Is there a great opportunity or is there not? Do you want to make money back or are you actually making a logical trading decision? It's entirely up to you. Again, curious questions. Has not like this is all great because this leads me to understand that the technical, which is the trading plan, like all these questions that you guys have are curious questions and you guys will figure them out on your own. And I want you to figure them out on your own. But as of right now, I've seen absolutely not one single fucking question about this. Like literally not one question has been about this. And that is fantastic. I don't mind answering these curious questions. At the moment of entry, we need a structure change to occur. What happens if in the lower time frames the opposite structures change never happens? Then you never fucking take the trade. That's it. I don't have to keep reading the question. Last week, okay, I'm just reading through some of this. If we break take profit one, can we shit the stop loss to take profit one? Go watch the recording. I answered that question. What is your criteria for the best trade? Once all of these things check out. Can you add a description or the date to the recordings on the site since there's so many? No. Go put in the work. Okay. What do you count as a real touch? Go watch the recording. No questions. Yeah, there's no technique. There's no questions on this shit because it's fucking impossible, honestly. Like respectfully, it really is. Like, there's no way you can have a question on that. You can have a question on, again, curious questions. All right, here we go. This one just started off funny, so I'm just gonna listen. You 6'2" giant. See, that's what I'm talking about, bro. That's my boy, right? This guy knows I'm big like that. I have a question that has not been answered in the previous recording. Okay, let's find out. Would you have entered a sell in the current day candle that crossed the high of the previous day candle? This is assuming all of your other trading conditions are met. The candle is in our area of interest. Broken structure has an A plus setup and confluences. Would you still take the sell? Well, I probably have not answered this question in the previous recording because it's fucking confusing. Would you have entered a sell if the current day candle has crossed above the high of the previous day candle? This is assuming that all of your other trading conditions are met. Area of interest, shift of structure. Well, listen here, partner. I don't know how the fuck there's going to be a shift of structure if the current daily candle is above the previous candle. That's just the first thing, right? I don't know how you're going to have a high on the daily, right? A high on the daily above the last candle. And then there still be a shift of structure on the 4 hour, right? I don't know how the fuck you're going to have that happen. But if that does happen, the answer would be no, but this is practically impossible. But if all my confluences are met and I like the trade, I do take the trade. I don't understand this, but I hope that answers your question. Okay. If everything up to this point makes sense, say yes. If not, say no. Perfect. I mean, yeah, it's basically 100%, dude, honestly. Okay, what other possible questions can you guys have? Jesus. Yeah, these are all just curious questions, bro. You guys are just creating an event and wanting the answer to this spontaneous and random event, which is fine. I'll answer it for you. But again, this is for you to go out there, experience and get it. Hey Alex, how do I use MetaTrader 5? Go watch the recording. Rachit, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Hey, bro, you've taught us at the trading strategy and wrote it out so we understand, but you haven't done the same thing with the trading plan. Can you please tell us the list of rules of the trading plan so we can write it out? This is the trading plan right here. This is the checklist, brother. There's really nothing else to it. Like, there's really nothing else to it. Wherever it is, bro, it's the one that I've been dragging every. This is literally the trading plan. I mean, if you need me to write step one, step two, step three, I'll do it, which I have it somewhere here. I think it's over here. Um, I mean, this is really not what I want to teach you guys right now. This is more for the last boot camp because the last boot camp I wasn't as good to teaching shit. But you guys can kind of take a screenshot of this if you want. So step one, these are your side notes for your confluences on the weekly time frame. If you're not rejecting a structure point, an EMA, and area of interest around psychological level or a candlestick, there's nothing else you can do. Then you move on to the daily, which on the daily, you're going to do the same thing. If you're not rejecting the structure point, EMA, area of interest around psychological, or a daily candlestick rejection, you're not doing anything. Like these are the only, like basically, I reverse psychology the whole fucking trading plan. We manually need to buy 4 hour high or low or potential 4 hour high. So this does not apply because this has changed from the last strategy. So we can take this out. The 4 hour after we started to create a potential higher or lower high, we're gonna then shift to the shift to structure and which one is the correct one, whichever one looks the cleanest. And then step five, once we get the shift to structure in the 15-minute, 30 hour, 1 hour, 2 hour, whichever one looks cleanest, we are then going to look for the engulfing on the 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour, whichever one looks cleanest and has the best confirmation. Side notes, whenever it comes to placing your stop loss has to be placed at the point where if it gets hit, you're completely wrong, or also at the bottom or top of the shift to structure in the 15, 30-minute, 1 hour, 5 to 10 pip breathing room. Now it's a 10 to 15 pip breathing room. And side note for the take profit placement, if we're buying at the weekly, we aim for the weekly. If we have a daily, we aim for the daily, we aim for the bodies. Same shit as the last one, honestly. It's what I've been basically saying the whole time. These are just old notes. Can you show us a real trading example? Ennis? Ennis, brother. Ennis. No, I have, dude. Come on, man. Do you ever hold trades on holidays? Sure. All right, cool. All these questions are just curious questions, and I just want you guys to go fuck up, and then you guys realize they're all basically common sense to me, honestly. Because I can't answer 1,000 different questions of 1,000 different possible scenarios, and basically the question is, what would I do? It's like, what would you do if Trump gets abducted by an alien, and then the market is gonna give me an entry signal? Do I take the trade there? Like, dude, well, I don't fucking know, dude. Maybe, like, fuck. What kind of alien abducted Trump? I don't know. Like, these are curious questions, basically. If you get wicked out, do you still take the trade again? If the trade makes sense, then you still take it. Like, they're all curious questions. Cool. So we talked about risk management and we talked about the wick thing. Did we talk about the wick thing? No, we talked about No, we haven't talked about the wick thing. I know we were waiting for it. Okay. Yeah, no, we never got it. The wick thing, we're gonna have to wait. And you know what? The wick thing is gonna happen now. So well, actually, we did talk about the wick trick. Yes, we did talk about the little wick trick. We haven't talked about the wick fill and the daily fill. So we'll talk about this, and then tomorrow we'll talk about the patterns, and then we'll kind of just do a little bit. We'll do like a full blown wrap up, kind of like everything in one shot. Because now what it really is all just rinse and repeat, more examples, more repetition, and really like embed shit into your guys' head. Like it would have taken me another 2 weeks to show you guys all these examples live. And the fact that I can show it to you guys in just one call saves me so much time and so much stress. All you have to do is just watch the recording a couple times so you guys really get it embedded in your head. So kind of the only thing I would have to have after today would just be the patterns. And again, it's going to be super easy to break it through. So I do want to talk about the 4 hour daily wick fill, or the just wick fill in general. So when you see a big wick, like, and it's perfect. Again, dude, I cannot ask for any better fucking examples than the ones that are happening right now. When you see a ginormous wick like this go in the favor of the trend and where the market is headed at this very moment, you would probably be like, oh, this shit is rejecting. This shit is gonna go down now because it's rejecting. And the correct answer would be no, it's not rejecting. It is rejecting, but it's not. This is gonna have a wick fill. This means that this next candlestick on the daily will then open and fill that. Now, how, why, I have no fucking idea, right? I don't make the rules. I just find how to break them and go around them. And we're breaking a rule here and we're going around it because the rule is if you have a wick, it's rejecting it. But when you write this down, when you have a wick in the direction of the trend, you break that rule by having a wick fill. Kind of trippy, right? Kind of confusing. Again, I don't make the rules. I break them and I go around them. And we're breaking them right now. Because if you have a wick like this, you're supposed to sell. Alex, the book candlestick Bible says to sell on that candlestick. I know, but it's not. This is tomorrow is going to open up and go back up. Again, I don't make the rules. Now, obviously, that's not a fucking 100% guarantee, right? Don't quote me on this shit and don't get mad if tomorrow it doesn't happen. I'm just saying 60, 70% of the time, there is a wick fill in the direction of the move. This right here is a perfect example of that potentially happening. This created a ginormous wick. Tomorrow, it should fill it because it's going in the direction of the trend. This right here created a ginormous wick. It should go in the direction that the market is headed. This right here is not a wick fill because that is a rejection. So if you notice, this market is going to the downside. It's bearish, and we're having a rejection from an area of interest. It's having a rejection from an area of interest. We don't fill that wick. We only fill the wick that is going in the direction of that trend at that moment. This wick is going against the trend and the direction. This wick is going with the trend and the direction. You guys see the difference? When you have a wick going against the trend, that is a rejection. When you have a wick going with the trend, that is a wick fill. If that makes sense, say yes. If not, say no. That's really what it is. A wick against the direction is a rejection. A wick with the direction is a wick fill. Perfect example. By the way, it's obvious that it's very clearly understood. By the way, very clear example would be this right here. this market right here had a ginormous wick. Now, yes, we are having a wick, but this market is bullish. Lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high. We are bullish. Yes, we are rejecting this area, but guess what? We're going to fill that wick because this wick is going with the direction of the trend. And would you look at that? The next candlestick wick filled it right here. A ginormous wick in the direction of the trend. What did the next candlestick do? Fill that wick. It's basically it, guys. Right here, what do we have? A wick with the direction of the trend. What do? We filled it. It's basically it. Here, this is just I guess a one-off ginormous wick. It did not fucking fill. Again, don't put a fucking gun to my head. It's not going to be 100%. It's just an added confirmation. It's just another little bullshit shit right here. A ginormous wick in the direction of the market. Wick filled it. It's basically it, guys. There's no strategy around it. There's no confluences around it. There's nothing other than just oh, yeah, we can probably have a wick fill here. That's really it. We don't add it to this shit right here. It's kind of the same thing on how you would have avoided this loss. There's nothing that we could have done or added to this right here. It's literally just more of oh, yeah, it doesn't have more than one rejection from the daily. I don't like it. There's not more to it, guys. That's really it. It's literally it. Now, if that makes sense, say yes, and if not, say no. Amazing. So, since 99% of you guys understand it, I want to leave it extremely clear. From this point forward, we are not going to be adding, modifying, adjusting, touching, fucking with, to nothing this right here. You guys have officially learned how to properly use, understand, manage, and execute with the fucking set and forget strategy. Congratulations and welcome to the other side. Now that you're on the other side, or you know that there is another side, if you want to stay here on the other side and you want to really master it and really get rich and really do all this, you have to execute on this. You cannot not execute on it and expect to have results. Now, when you execute on it, you're going to need to have patience. You got to wait for these setups. You got to wait for everything to happen so you can go and execute it. You're going to need time to really understand how to properly execute and how to properly understand this new power you have and how to use it correctly. And most importantly, you got to have dedication. Showing up every single fucking day and doing it. Because if not, you simply aren't going to be as efficient as somebody else that does. And if you notice, those are the three same exact things that I asked from you guys since day one, and they apply from day one to now, day whatever we're in, when now you understand the strategy. This is going to be so crucial for the longevity of you guys. Now, we're not done. This is not wrapping up. Not at all. We guys still have plenty of time together, and then we still have Sunday swings forever. But I want you guys to start now shifting your mindset from being a sponge to which is what you've been this whole entire time. And I've had you in a understanding mindset to now, okay, there's nothing else to this. All that there is other to this now is just rinse and repeat. Don't try, we say it in Spanish, no le busque donde le entra el agua al coco. Now, 90% of you guys are like, what the fuck did this guy just say? And it's, don't try and find another way on how the water got into the coconut. How the fuck does water get into the coconut if it's sealed? How? Well, Who gives a fucking flying shit? What you care about is when you get it, you open it up, you drink your coconut water, and it tastes good. That's it. Don't try and figure out how the water got into the coconut. There is just water in a coconut. You drink it and you get hydrated. Don't try and figure out how the water gets in there. That's not your role. Your role is to go get the coconut, chop it up, and drink it. Mother Nature is going to take care of putting the water in there. Same thing here. Mother Nature is, or the market nature is going to take care of creating the market moves. Your job is to just wait and execute on the correct one. Don't try and figure out why Mother Nature is having a certain move or what to do on the market when the market is not giving you a certain move. Don't try and figure out what Mother Nature is doing with the weather and why the coconuts are not having water right now. It's because they're just not ready. Don't try and figure out why the market nature is not giving you the entry and you try and figure out other ways for you to trade. If it's not there, it's not there. Plain, boom, simple, move on. Don't try and find a different way on how to fuck with the market nature. If there's no coconuts with water, there's no coconuts with water. Don't try and chop off the coconut and dip it inside the salt water or heat it up thinking that water's going to get in there. You're fucking with Mother Nature. Don't try and execute a trade that does not follow the trading plan that the market nature is not giving you. You're fucking up the trading plan. You're fucking up everything that we've done to this point. Now, does it suck to just sit around waiting for a coconut to get filled with water? Yeah, it's boring. And there's nothing exciting about it. Does it suck sitting around waiting for the market to give you an opportunity and you doing nothing about it? Yeah, it's boring. It fucking sucks. But that is your role here. And you are productive letting the market nature give you a perfect trade to enter. The same thing with the coconut. Your role and your duty is simply waiting for Mother Nature to, your role is to let Mother Nature fill up the coconuts with water, and your role is to go chop it off when it's full of water. Your role is to not fill it up with water or figure out why. Your role is to not figure out the market, why it's moving, and how to execute when it's not moving correctly. Your role is to only execute when it's moving correctly. Your role is to only drink the coconut water, chop it off, and there's water in there. Plain and simple. And I know I'm repeating this in a bunch of different angles because it is so crucial for you guys to understand that, because this might be now so simple that you guys might feel like right now, for me, I'm probably not going to trade for the rest of the week. This trade, set and forget. This trade is done. This trade is done. This trade, waiting for another confirmation, and then this trade might be interested in it. That guy just wait now. Like, that is the difficult part of trading. Then now you feel like you have something so powerful, but now you can't do anything with it because the market doesn't give you an opportunity. And it's like, yeah, the market's going to give you an opportunity when it's ready. So I really want you guys to understand that deeply and corely. I know these fucking analogies are stupid, gangster. Write them the fuck down, because all this shit is just in here and it comes out naturally. I don't even write this shit down. All right. That's probably one of the best analogies I've had so far in the bootcamp. So if all this makes sense, say yes. If not, say no. Yo, I was fucking spitting right there. Honestly, dude, that was good. I'm very proud of myself on that one. Alex got bars. Yeah, shit got deep real quick. Say it again. Go fuck yourself. Say it again. I didn't hear. Hell no. You can't. I can't just. By the way, it's a 99%. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Quotes of the day. Don't try and figure out why the water got into the coconut or how the water got into the coconut. Plain and simple. Ladies and gentlemen, drop a W if you guys like today's class. Drop an L if you did not. Amazing. Amazing. By the way, my Instagram, yes, I know it's still down. Should be back up soon. I'm just waiting for it. Honestly, it's been kind of cool not having it. I've been so productive. My girlfriend, haven't been able to see my girlfriend. Kind of the only bummer. Ronner, dude, you could deposit 500 bucks if you want, man. Do whatever you want. You're a beginner, whatever you want to lose, bro. You're gonna probably lose it because you're just getting started and you got to learn how to manage money. Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, see you guys tomorrow. Make sure to watch this recording and set and motherfucking forget. See you guys. Is tomorrow Thanksgiving? No, Thanksgiving's Thursday. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Take care, guys, and see you guys then.